Good morning. It's 9 o'clock. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Still jammed on westbound 40 before Mount Julia Road with a crash now off to the shoulder. That's the one involving 5 cars. Careful in that area. An Arizona man now says he was stopped and questioned in connection with the disappearance over a week ago of Nancy Guthrie, the mother of Today Show host Savannah Guthrie. That man identified himself as Carlos. Speaking to reporters, said he was held at the scene of the traffic stop for hours while being questioned by police, and then he was released.
Terrifying. Something I didn't do for something. I felt like I was being kidnapped, bro.
Carlos's mother-in-law telling news outlets she invited the FBI into their home, saying they have nothing to hide. The first Metro Nashville council meeting since the devastating winter storm. Representatives from Metro Water Services were there, some from NDOT and Emergency Management. Channel 4's Braden Ross picks it up from there.
It was representatives from NES that spent the most time in the hot seat.
We did not meet the expectations of our customers.
They fielded questions about everything from staffing.
We are going to make sure that we have additional contracts lined up
to supporting people with critical care needs.
There were several nursing homes that weren't in our list.
To tree trimming.
We did not do specific actions through leading up to this storm, but I think absolutely as we learned from this, a commitment to every action leading into this type of an event, you will see us make those.
By the way, there was no action taken on removing leadership from NES or the Power Board. Uproar in Manhattan after the pride flag was removed by the National Park Service at the Stonewall National Monument. It was designated a national monument by Barack Obama in 2016 as the place where the LGBTQ movement took hold. ABC's Diane Macedo on what NPS is saying about removing that flag.
Under government-wide guidance, including General Services Administration policy and Department of the Interior direction, only the U.S. flag and other congressionally or departmentally authorized flags are flown on NPS-managed flagpoles, with limited exceptions. Any changes to flag displays are made to ensure consistency with that guidance.
Last March, President Trump ordered a removal of divisive and anti-American content from museums and national parks. And better late than never, the Labor Department's look at the January unemployment was delayed for 5 days by that brief government shutdown. But ABC's Jim Ryan says it is out today.
The Dow Jones consensus forecast called for payroll gains of 55,000 after a December increase of 50,000. The actual figure has come in at nearly triple that, with 130,000 jobs created in January, with gains in healthcare and construction.
And government jobs are on the decline. Market numbers brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com. Dow Jones now up 127, NASDAQ up 10, and the S&P is up 14 points. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Good morning. It is 9:07 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? My name is Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by our friends over at Better Water LLC, and you can listen to the show anywhere. iHeart, TuneIn, the FM dial. You can watch the show as well on Super Talk TV, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Rumble. You ever know what you need to say, but then you forget, like, mid-sentence?
All the time.
Happens
All the
to me.
time.
I'm also the guy that, like, oh, let me go grab this upstairs, and I get to the top of the stairs, and I go, what did I need?
Why am I here?
Like,
what room is this?
Am I Joe Biden? That's what I do all the time.
Starting early, man.
It's bad, Joan. It's bad. I blame the kids.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
You gotta, whatever their names are. So, all right. Airspace is back open in El Paso. That's a wild story, and one that deserves a lot more time and a lot more investigation. They shut down the airspace in El Paso for 10 days, and they wouldn't tell anybody why. And I was listening on the way in, as many of you guys were as well. And, you know, I was listening to Dan and Brian and Joan discuss this. And Brian was like, you know, there's that military base right there. Maybe they're doing some training. And I was like, ooh, that makes sense. And I was like, man, are we going to bomb Iran? Is that what's going to happen? Bomb Iran? Is that what we're going to see? And now it's back open. And it just seems even stranger of a story. The Department of War had to deal with Mexican cartel drones.
The temporary closure of airspace over El Paso. It's now been lifted. The agency said there is no threat to commercial aviation. All flights will soon resume as normal. This comes hours after flights in and out of El Paso International Airport were closed, with officials citing special security reasons. So this is good news, but the mystery remains. For those people who are heading home from El Paso, maybe you want to turn around and call your local airline.
At what point do we start bombing cartels? I mean, in all honesty, at what point do we say enough is enough? The drug smuggling, the human smuggling, the violence, the ramifications on our own country, and now we're shutting down our own airspace because of cartel drones. At what point do we just say, screw it, press the red button? I mean, honestly, why haven't we done it yet? If you want the American people to support a war, bombing drug cartels, I think, would be another one of those, what do they call them, 80-20 issues? Yeah, I think it would be an 80-20 issue, other than the Democrats, who would probably clutch their pearls and say, oh, my goodness, they're just trying to feed their families. Okay. Yeah, I'm a fan of bombing cartels, and I think we should. A lot to talk about today. We got some updates on the SAVE Act. We also got a great interview with President Trump and Larry Kudlow. We got some Epstein information, and my friends Bo Diddle and Gabe Victal are going to be joining us in studio right around 10 o'clock. They were in Minnesota all weekend. They got some great footage of the protests and the arrests. They were on the ground in the weeds and putting their necks on the line to get that footage. And we'll talk to them about the situation in Minnesota and what they think. Is it getting better or is it getting worse? You know, that was the first weekend after Tom Homan had announced the drawdown. So I have some questions. Do those leftists feel empowered to continue protesting? Do they feel like they won? Or are they calming down a bit? And we'll ask a couple guys that were on the ground there and saw it firsthand. And looking forward to that conversation. Also, again, you know, I mentioned just a second ago, the Epstein narrative is just collapsing in real time. And I'm here for it. ABC News forced to report what we reported yesterday, that Donald Trump is in the files. And one of those files is a conversation that he had with Palm Beach Police Department in 2006.
This morning, a new document coming to light claims in the mid-2000s, President Trump called police about Jeffrey Epstein. Among the 3 million Epstein files released by the Department of Justice last month is a 4-page FBI report on an interview the Bureau conducted in 2019 with the man believed to be former Palm Beach Police Chief Michael Ryder. Ryder and his detectives began investigating Epstein for human trafficking in 2004. According to the document, Trump called Ryder around that time and said, "Thank goodness you're stopping him. Everyone has known he's been doing this." Ryder also says Trump said he threw Epstein out of his club, and he was around Epstein once when teenagers were present, and Trump got the hell out of there. The former police chief says Trump told him to focus on Epstein's associate, Ghislaine Maxwell, saying she is evil.
Did you have any...
I don't know. Guys, is the narrative collapsing that Trump was involved? Pam Bondi is currently testifying on Capitol Hill, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of questions on the files, the redactions, and why we haven't seen more. Also, why aren't we seeing arrests? Why aren't we seeing investigations and accountability? That's what we need from the DOJ. It seems like they're dragging their feet on this, and you have to ask why. It seems like the FBI is dragging their feet on this, and you have to ask why. Ultimately, that responsibility is going to fall at the feet of Donald Trump. However, with these new documents confirming what we already knew, Donald Trump was not doing what the leftists say he was doing. And I mean, that kind of became apparent when they ran away from the story a couple weeks ago. You know, you didn't see, other than Ro Khanna, what Democrats have been screaming about the Epstein files. They know what time it is. It became less of a useful weapon to bludgeon Trump with, so they dropped it. Especially because, you know, they had information on Hakeem Jeffries, you know, soliciting donations. They had info on Stacey Plaskett texting with Epstein during congressional hearings and asking for tips on how to go after Trump and getting those tips from Epstein in real time. It's insanity. But this is what we're learning, and it's a big deal. It's an absolute big deal. Scott Jennings was talking about this yesterday, and Scott Jennings always hits the nail on the head. He is one of the best. This is Scott Jennings on his show about the Epstein file release when it comes to Trump and Palm Beach Police Department.
There are new details that sharply undercut years of media and Democrat speculation and assertions about Donald Trump. Newly released FBI interview records confirm that Trump personally contacted Florida police in 2006 during the original Jeffrey Epstein investigation, and not to shield Epstein, but to support law enforcement going after him. According to the former Palm Beach police chief, Trump called investigators and praised them for pursuing the case. He warned about Epstein abusing underage girls. Trump also flagged Ghislaine Maxwell as evil, and he urged the police in Florida to focus on her role in recruiting victims.
It's not just Epstein, Trump told the police. Yeah, you're looking at the right guy, but you got to expand that view a bit, and you need to look at Ghislaine Maxwell. You have to. You have to.
This is all in the Epstein files. Trump was right. The entire narrative around him and Epstein was a hoax.
And that's an important point. A lot of individuals have laid on that line. It's a hoax. It's a hoax. But what we have long said here is the files aren't the hoax. Epstein is not the hoax. It's the media attention and the narrative spinning to make it seem like Donald Trump was implicated, that Donald Trump was guilty of wrongdoing. That's been the hoax. It's like when Donald Trump calls affordability a hoax. He's not saying that things aren't expensive. He's saying that the blame being placed on the Trump administration is the hoax. People that are paying attention understand that. Those smooth brains in the media, they continue using their Democrat talking points. Also this morning, speaking of affordability, great job numbers just coming in. This was on CNBC.
On-farm payrolls for January coming in twice expectations at 130,000. 130K. That would be the juiciest going back to April of last year when it was 158.
Is that good? Donald Trump posting on True Social just in. Great numbers, far greater than expected. The United States of America should be paying much less on its borrowing bonds. We are again the strongest country in the world and should therefore be paying the lowest interest rate by far. This would be an interest cost savings of at least $1 trillion per year. Balanced budget plus. Wow, the golden age of America is upon us. DJT. The media is going to spin anything they can anti-Trump. The leftists will spend anything that they can anti-Trump. And in fact, a lot of them with the affordability stuff, we've seen them. They're rooting for a recession. They're rooting for a depression just so that way they can have a aha, told you so moment when it comes to Trump. Actively rooting for the downfall of the country. Nice. We love it. Love it. Great job, guys. Everybody's so proud of you. Stunning and brave. Back on the Epstein front. Did you see Piers Morgan last night? Has anybody watched Piers Morgan? He had on a guest, Lady Victoria Hervey, who claimed that Al Gore and Harvey Weinstein's former attorney, David Boies, paid off two teenage girls, 13 and 14, who were allegedly lured to Epstein's hotel by Virginia Giuffre. As she starts telling this story, Piers Morgan just like snaps. And he's like, you can't be telling falsehoods on my show. And that's like, you invited this woman on. She has a story to tell. Well, why are you getting so angry? And when people react with that kind of anger, it gives you pause. It gives me pause.
Being in my position, I have been in a position where I have been able to be vocal, and that means that I've had a lot of people reaching out to me with information. A couple of months ago, I had a British girl reach out to me, and she said that her and her friends met Jeffrey Epstein in Virginia the weekend of March 10th, 2001, at the Dorchester Hotel. Virginia lured them to Jeffrey's hotel. She made the girls lie and say that they were 18 years old. One was 13, one was 14. They actually signed NDAs with Virginia, and David Boies paid them off. Now, they're too scared to come out.
Well, unless you've got evidence for any of that, I'm not going to just allow you to spew any cock and bull conspiracy theory that has come to your mind.
Once David Boies, it might take to the point where he passes away, and then I feel like the floodgates will open, and all
well, you know
these
what?
people...
David Boies might well sue you. David Boies might well sue you over what you've just said.
Well,
it's a
these
very
girls
serious
are
defamation.
in touch with the Metropolitan Police. So what I want to tell you is I'm very much in touch with the police, literally on WhatsApp, and they know a lot of information that you guys are not privy to. But
do you know what, Victoria? With the greatest respect, I think you talk utter shit.
Yeah. Piers Morgan was not exactly happy. Piers Morgan just loses his mind, and I just don't understand why. Why can't you have a reasonable conversation with people that are bringing information to the table? Especially when it comes to the Epstein stuff. Even when people accuse the conservatives and Donald Trump of doing it, it's like, I don't understand why you would react in anger. Like, it's just a silly thing to do. He ends up saying, you don't give a damn about these girls. You don't give a damn about these victims. You think it's fine to smear all of them. And I don't think she's smearing them. I think that's actually what she's saying about Virginia Giuffre is in line with what we've seen a lot with the Epstein victims. They became victims, and then they started recruiting their own new girls. And that narrative has been well established in the Epstein lore. But he says, I'm not going to let you smear the victims. And then when she tries to push back, he has the producers completely cut her off. And I don't know. I'll tell you what I did. I immediately went to the DOJ Epstein files and searched Piers Morgan's name, because I don't understand why you have a reaction like that. It wasn't there. Just for let the record show, his name does not appear in the files. But golly, Joe Rogan was also talking about the Epstein files. Did you see that? He had Cheryl Hines on, RFK's wife, and he said that he got an invitation from a friend who had been on the podcast. Not a friend, just a guest on the podcast, and that person reached out and asked if he wanted to meet Jeffrey. And Joe was telling the story. He's like, I'm into the Epstein files. I'm in the Epstein files because I said no. He said it was 2017. This guy was on the podcast, and he asked me, do you want to meet Jeffrey and go have some lunch? And he said, you know what I did? A quick Google search. And upon a quick Google search, he said, why the F are you doing this? Why on earth would I ever go meet with this guy? We need more sane individuals like that. And anybody that's having lunch with him that didn't do a Google search, sus. And I'm looking at you, Howard Lutnick. The conservatives are trying to cover for Howard Lutnick a bit, and I can't see it, man. You absolutely lied. Like 100%. You said you saw the massage table in his room, in his living room. He gave you creepy vibes, and you said, I'm never gonna hang out with him again. And then you went to the island and had lunch. Howard Lutnick needs to resign. 100%. Pam Bondi currently giving she's currently at a hearing right now, House Judiciary Committee hearing. That is underway. The Democrats are sure to ask about some of the redactions in the Epstein files. I'm sure that she's going to get a lot of questions about it. And as that audio comes out, we'll bring it to you here first on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It's 9:21. My name's Chris Hand. Hit the like button. Hit subscribe on YouTube and Rumble. We appreciate you. It's 99.7 WTN. Hey, if you think that you can't get health insurance because you missed open enrollment, that is a myth. That is what big insurance companies want you to think. With Cover Nash, you can get covered today, right now. No waiting, no gimmicks, just real insurance from real providers, and it's not going to break the bank. What's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friend Shane Ring at Cover Nash. And like I said, with Cover Nash, you can get covered today, right now. You missed open enrollment, no problem. You lost your job coverage, no problem. You're just sick of overpriced junk insurance? Well, you're definitely in the right place. Cover Nash partners with over 75 top-rated insurance companies, including brand new nationwide PPO options. We're talking deductibles as low as $250, flat $50 doctor visits, ACA compliant plans, free preventative care, plans for individuals, self-employed folks, small businesses, families, you name it. Cover Nash has you covered. Stop overpaying, stop waiting, and stop thinking you're stuck. Call Shane Ring right now. 615-465-0023. That's 615-465-0023. Or you can book some time online. CoverNash.com.
A Nashville mother under arrest for what she did to her own toddler children. It's coming up here at 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Joan Jones in the newsroom. My name is Chris Hand. It's 9:27 Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. I was looking at the YouTube chat. Our guy Stetson Maven. I don't know if he was trolling or not. He said, come on, Chris, get over it. We're going to fire everybody who lied about something. Talking about Howard Lutnick. I understand that the conservative purity test, it gets a bit absurd sometimes, right? Like you have to be squeaky clean. But on this specific issue with Epstein and how Howard Lutnick clearly lied, it is such a bad look to keep him on board. It just is. And you can say that, Howard did nothing wrong, and he might not have. Listen, going to lunch with a guy doesn't mean that you're out there raping kids. But you lied. And on this specific issue, I do think that the conservatives and the Trump administration need to take the high ground. I would also, I think we need to have serious conversations about Pam Bondi and Kash Patel as well. Let's not forget that they told us that there were no more files before they released $3 million. Let's not forget that Pam Bondi had the files on her desk, and then she signed an affidavit saying that there's nothing else, and there were no co-conspirators. And now we're learning that there were at least 6 co-conspirators that Thomas Massey is getting the names unredacted, one of them being Les Wexner. I mean, the more you dig into it, the worse it gets. The accountability will lay at the feet of Donald Trump. Donald Trump doesn't exactly have a great record of picking AGs or FBI directors. He just doesn't. It's just the reality. I support my president. I support this administration. But we also want the world's most notorious pedophile, sex trafficker, blackmail connoisseur, and his associates to be held accountable. The story's not going anywhere. And the longer Lutnick stays on staff, the less high ground we as conservatives are going to have on this issue. What are we going to say if we just let him stay? Like, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. I think he has to go. I do. I think he's got to go. I think he'll find another Commerce Secretary. That'll be just as good. Sucks, dude. He could have avoided all of this. When he lied, it was a friendly interview with Miranda Devine. Do you know what you can do in friendly interviews? You can say, hey, let's focus on this. Let's focus on that. I don't really want to touch this. And you know what Miranda Devine would have said if Howard Lutnick went in there and said, I don't really want to do the Epstein stuff? She would have went, okay, there's plenty to talk about. And then he wouldn't have had to lie. But he did lie. And if he's going to lie about that, what else is he willing to lie about? That's all I'm saying. 9:30, Super Talk, 99.7 WTN.
Good morning, 9:30 now. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. A Nashville mother arrested for posting photos of her own children being sexually abused online. Her name is Misty Jensen, and Channel 4's Holly Thompson says the man who was seen abusing the children has also been arrested.
According to the arrest report, police found messages from Denzel Miller talking about the abuse of Jensen's 3-year-old and 5-year-old children. Police say they found explicit photos on both their phones, more than a dozen other photos of toddlers being abused.
Misty Jensen's been under investigation since January. Somebody tipped off police about the images on her Reddit account. This is sentencing day for Cheyenne Dawn Maddox of Clarksville. She's the mother of convicted of killing her disabled 13-year-old son, Kadaris, who was confined to a wheelchair. Kadaris was starved to death. The jury found her guilty of reckless homicide and aggravated child neglect in October. Cheyenne Maddox could get as much as 29 years in prison. And just when you thought the airspace over El Paso, Texas was closed for the next 10 days, the FAA lifting that order this morning. Fox News reporting the initial lockdown came in response to Mexican cartel drones that breached U.S. airspace. The Department of War took action to disable those drones. The FAA now saying there is no threat to commercial travel. That is the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We got Valentine's Day in 3 days. And if you buy a Beehive Club membership today and you join that yearly membership, you are going to be automatically entered into their Valentine's Sweetheart Deal giveaway. One winner is going to get a relaxing couples massage and spa package from Third Coast Salt. They just were named Wilson County's best, and a $100 gift card from Visa for a legit dinner date. Not a bad deal for getting a Beehive Club membership. There's so much value in that Beehive Club membership. Front of the line service. It goes on and on and on. You got to get a Beehive Club membership. And if you do it today, tomorrow, Friday, you could be winning that Sweetheart Deal giveaway. They're going to do the drawing live Friday, February 13th on Facebook Live, so keep a lookout for that and like them on Facebook. Plus, they got some great savings while we're at it. 40% off a whole home surge protector with repairs, $500 off whole home water repipes, and the 93 are free mainline clog deal. If they can't clear it, you don't pay for it. Don't wait. Call Busy Bee today, 615-775-7833, 615-775-7833, busybeehvac.com. It's 9:37. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? I'm Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. We got a heck of a party lined up on February 24th. The State of the Union. State of the Union. It says Donald Trump's State of the Union address. And we're going to be doing it at Legends Steakhouse in Smyrna. Hence the name, Steak of the Union. I think Mandis came up with it.
Doesn't surprise me.
He's been working on the puns.
He's a big pun guy.
He loves puns.
Loves puns.
Huge fan. He's got a lot more too. If you want to come and join us, he said he's going to be. He told me off the air. He's like, I'm going to double and triple that list.
Yeah, he was prepping.
Yeah, he said. I told him that he should, instead of like little name cards at everybody's seat, he should have an individualized pun.
I'm here for it.
He's working on it. It's going to be fun. Myself, Mandis, Murphy, Benson, the whole squad. We're going to be out there at Legend Steakhouse in Smyrna on the 24th. You can be out there as well. This is a very, very exclusive event. There's we originally only had 100 tickets available. That is considerably dwindling. So if you want to join us, you got to go to 997wtn.com. Grab your tickets today. $100 ticket. Get you a steak, get you 2 sides, get you the salad bar, get you the dessert, get you a drink, non-alcoholic, plus it includes the tax and the gratuity. So it's all-encompassing. You can hang out with us and watch the State of the Union address. It's going to be a fun night. Appreciate you guys chiming in on the YouTube chat, on the text lines, and on the phone line, 615-737-9986. We love taking your calls. Anything you want to talk about, you're more than welcome to join the show. Did you see Todd Lyons yesterday? He was doing a hearing on at the Capitol, and he was doing just his regular hearing. He's the acting ICE director, and he went out there and he opened it up and he wanted to tout some wins, because there's been a lot of wins when it comes to the Trump administration and immigration enforcement. So Todd Lyons was there to highlight some of those.
Under the leadership of President Trump and DHS Secretary Kristi Noem, the men and women of ICE have been empowered to do exactly what they're trying to do: arrest and remove illegal aliens and criminals from our communities. We are enhancing public safety, securing our national security, and finally restoring integrity to the immigration system that had been allowed to collapse. We have supercharged our partnerships with state and local law enforcement, empowering officers around the country through the 287G program to help ICE identify and remove criminal aliens. Those partnerships have increased more than 900% since President Trump took office, and our communities are safer for it. I am also proud of our agency's unprecedented hiring campaign that led to hiring of more than 12,000 officers and special agents in less than a year, and more than 222,000 individuals submitted applications. This expansion of a well-trained and well-vetted workforce will help further ICE's abilities to execute President's and Secretary's bold agenda.
He went on to say that ICE has arrested 7,000 suspected gang members, 1,400 known or suspected terrorists. This is huge. He talked about the partnerships, and the partnerships are working great when the states want to work with ICE and DHS. You look at states like Tennessee, Louisiana, Florida, Texas, it's going swimmingly. You look at other states, and it's a bit more of a headache and a bit more of an issue. It's one of the reasons why we're going to have Bo Diddle and Gabe Victor in here right after 10 o'clock. They've been in Minnesota all weekend long, and that state doesn't want to work with ICE. That state doesn't want to work with DHS, though they admittedly, there has been a bit more cooperation. We saw yesterday in Minneapolis, we talked about it on the show yesterday, local police tearing down those roadblocks set up by the leftist protesters where they were running plates of any out-of-state plate. They were stopping the vehicle and running the plate. You know, I'm using air quotes if you're not watching on Super Talk TV. They were running the plate via their signal chats where it's like a little paramilitary chat where they're keeping track of the ICE agents and following them around. So they're running plates. It's something that you would see in like a third world country. Minneapolis police tore those blockades down, so we thank them for that. While Todd Lyons is there, and he's talking about the successes that they've had, that didn't stop the Democrats from berating him with narrative, spin, hoaxes, and lies. And Eric Swalwell was one of the first ones up. He remember the story with the 5-year-old? Oh, my goodness. ICE detained a 5-year-old. The monsters. How could they? Eric Swalwell held up a picture of that 5-year-old, and the exchange went a little like this.
Mr. Lyons, will you resign from ICE?
No, sir, I won't.
Why not?
Because, sir, that child that you're showing right there, the men and women of ICE took care of him when his father abandoned him and ran from law enforcement.
Oh, yeah, the gentleman's time is up. The gentleman's time is up. Please, sir. Please, sir. You know these Democrats can't understand, comprehend, or handle the truth you're throwing at them. I can't believe. And it's like, golly, Eric Swalwell has to know the reality of what happened with that 5-year-old. Eric Swalwell is also going to continue pushing the narrative because he thinks his voters are too dumb to know the reality of what happened with that 5-year-old. Targeted enforcement operation on the father. He sees ICE agents coming, and he abandons his 5-year-old and flees the scene. He abandoned him. ICE agents took the kid to McDonald's. I mean, are we dealing in reality here? ICE agents played the kid's favorite music on their cell phones for the young guy, so that way he wasn't as upset as he was from the jump. They did everything they could to make this kid feel loved and taken care of and looked after. But this loser, illegal alien, abandoned his own kid. And the Democrats feel like that's a scenario that we're going to use to bludgeon ICE with. It makes no sense. I do believe, and maybe I'm giving him too much credit, I believe Eric Swalwell is smart enough to know the reality of that situation. I believe that he's just lying to lie. Insanity. I mean, we've seen the 5-year-old kid over and over. During the Bad Bunny halftime show, they had a 5-year-old look-alike that Bad Bunny handed his Grammy to. And then Ed Krasenstein, who's like some big lefty on Twitter, was like, oh my gosh, you guys. He just gave his Grammy Award to the 5-year-old that was detained by ICE. That is stunning and brave. And it's like, hey, dude, pause. Just because you think all brown kids look the same, that's not what happened here. They'd hired an actor. It wasn't the same kid. You know, just exposing yourself. These smooth brains on the left, unbelievable. Todd Lyons also called out a lot of lies. He called out the lies there with Eric Swalwell. He also called out the lie that only 14% of illegal aliens arrested have a violent criminal history.
The United States.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.
Gentleman yields back. I now recognize the gentleman from California, Mr. Correa, for 5 minutes of questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to welcome our witnesses today. Gentlemen, I wanted to start out by talking a little bit about my district, Southern California, Disneyland. Southern California is the center of manufacturing for the United States. California, biggest ag state in the union.
Sorry, that's the wrong clip, and I do apologize. It got a little mixed up there. But the narrative is that only 14% of the arrests have to do with violent criminals. And the talking point from the Trump administration has been, we're going to focus on the worst first. That's what we're going to do. And I've made the point on this show numerous times. You've been doing that for a year. Now we need to focus on everybody, and we need to just throw that talking point in the trash. But now they're saying only 14% of your arrests have been illegal aliens. Todd Lyons pushed back against that. Also pushing back against that was our own press secretary yesterday, Caroline Leavitt, during the White House press briefing. She's like, hey, guys, do you know what's not classified as a violent crime? Human trafficking. Oh, weird. Do you know what else isn't classified as a violent crime? Distribution of child pornography. Oh, weird. Do you know what else isn't classified as a violent crime? Embezzlement. We could go on and on and on and on. Caroline Leavitt did.
I've seen this CBS report floating around. There's a lot of liberal talking heads and pundits and Democrat elected politicians who think that this single story and these statistics and the way they are painted is somehow a shot at this administration. It is not. And let me correct the record. Number one, the Trump administration has been clear from day one that any illegal alien present in this country is subject to deportation. However, the priority, of course, is going after the convicted criminals, the worst of the worst, the murderers, the pedophiles, the rapists in this country. Interestingly, in the CBS story, what the Democrat talking heads on television are not saying is this line. Nearly 60% of ICE arrestees over the past year had criminal charges or convictions. And among that population, the majority of the criminal charges or convictions are for nonviolent crimes. Oh, well, what are nonviolent crimes, you ask? This has coincided with what DHS has been saying all along, that approximately 70% of illegal aliens arrested under President Trump have pending criminal charges and or prior convictions. And these so-called nonviolent crimes, drug trafficking, distribution of child porn, burglary, fraud, DUI, embezzlement, solicitation of a minor, and human smuggling, just to name a few. So just because a crime is not violent in nature doesn't mean that crime is victimless.
Nailed it. Thank you. Finally, a bit of sanity. And while they're getting these child pornography distributors, these drug traffickers, the human traffickers, the burglars, the murderers, and so forth off the street, you're still getting the demonization of ICE by these Democrats, which is just asinine. And it continued yesterday during this hearing with Todd Lyons. It was Dan Goldman. You remember Dan Goldman? Dan Goldman was comparing the men and women of ICE to the Gestapo during the hearing. They're getting guys off the street that are distributing child porn. They're getting human traffickers off the street. They're getting drug smugglers off the street. How many people, just by a show of hands in the class, how many people know someone who has overdosed and died on drugs? Pretty much everybody in the class's hand goes up. We all know someone. And the people that are getting these animals off the street, they're the ones being demonized. Dan Goldman continued. Todd Lyons wasn't having it.
Do you know what other regimes in the 20th century required similar proof of citizenship?
Yes, sir.
What?
Sir, there was various nefarious regimes that did that.
Is Nazi Germany one?
Yes, but
Is the Soviet Union one?
I honestly,
Sir, I'm asking the questions. Is the Soviet Union one?
Yes, sir, but I totally, this is the wrong type of questioning.
I'll tell you what the wrong type
but
of
actually,
thing
sir,
is. Sir, it's
the
my
Holocaust
time.
Museum
Reclaiming my time, sir.
If you want to go see
Reclaiming my
Nazism,
time,
that's what
Mr.
it is.
Chairman.
It's not the men and women of ICE that are out there doing it every day. So to say that the men and women of ICE are
Mr. Chairman, I'm reclaiming my time. I would like my time back, please.
Yeah, reclaim your time.
Reclaiming my time.
What an idiot. What an absolute... Do you know what else, Mr. Lyons? I have on good authority that when the men and women of ICE are dehydrated, they're drinking water. Do you know who else drank water? Nazis. You stupid bigot.
Obviously.
Like, what are we doing here? Are we really doing this? They're getting guys that are distributing child porn off the streets. They're getting murderers off the street. They're getting gang members off the street. They're getting rapists off the street. They're getting child sodomizers off the street. Do you know who else had prisons? Nazis. Oh, my gosh. I had no idea. I'm hearing this for the first time. I didn't know. I had no idea. This is the line of question that Todd Lyons had to deal with yesterday. These are not serious people on the other side of the aisle. And they're not doing anything to make our communities or country safer. And they're definitely not doing anything to make the job of ICE any easier. It's 9:51. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Coming up, a Brentwood man has been arrested. He's been charged with child exploitation. The details are just ahead at 10 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Joan Jones in the newsroom with the headlines on the way in less than 5 minutes. My name's Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I got a couple guys in studio that y'all are familiar with. Bo Diddle, Gabe Victel are in the building. What's up, guys? How are you?
Doing great.
You survived another weekend in Minneapolis.
We did. No, bro, this is getting weird.
Why?
Okay, because we're saying the same thing.
I mean,
we did survive it.
Both
though.
were in Minneapolis. We had the same experience.
Lots to talk about.
So, is it getting better or is it getting worse?
Yes, it is getting better.
Really?
Yes.
Is it because of local cooperation with the police?
Not cooperation. It's because they're actually doing arrests.
I mean, like, from my perspective, I think that, at any point, if they are impeding law enforcement, they should be, like, arrested in the spot, detained on the spot. And they weren't doing that the first couple times we were in Minneapolis. I mean, they were giving them a plethora of warnings. I mean, even this past weekend.
They weren't even there.
Yeah.
Like, the first time we were there, they were at a hotel, and they were out there until like midnight, 1 o'clock. Police never showed up. They showed up, but it wasn't till after midnight when they showed up, and they were just letting them do whatever they wanted. It was a free-for-all. But it seems like after Tom Homan sat down and came in there, things have changed. This was a different Minnesota when we came in there this time.
Is it the impact of local police?
Yeah. I would say that's a large part of it.
Like everybody, like state police as well were there. So, I mean, if you consider that local police, but I just mean like,
Yeah. The police that are under the official jurisdiction of Minnesota.
Yeah.
Essentially. How many arrests did you guys see?
I witnessed
a lot.
Yeah. Like about, if I were to give like a rough ballpark estimate, it would probably be anywhere from like 60 to 80 arrests, only on, Saturday, like just on Saturday alone.
Because you guys were there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Yeah, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Yeah.
Jeez. Okay, so we got a lot to dive into when it comes to Minnesota. Did you guys see any of the roadblocks that the locals were putting up?
We didn't. Not to my knowledge. So I'm just going to say this. A lot of the roadblocks are where ICE is actually cracking down and trying to do some raids. We were not in those areas. We were strictly in the protests. We were at the ICE detention center. We were at a few different places, but it wasn't where ICE was actually. That makes sense.
It does. We'll dive into this more with Bo Diddle and Gabe Victel on the way. It is 10 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. A Brentwood man arrested in connection with an ongoing child exploitation case. 31-year-old Scott Quarles was first arrested in 2024 after special agents with TBI posed as underage girls in an internet chat operation. Quarles has been indicted now on 42 counts, including aggravated statutory rape of a minor. He is in jail now on $1 million bond. In Nashville, 2 disaster relief centers are now open to help people affected by the winter storm to get some help. One is at Hadley Park, the other Smith Springs Community Center. These locations are open during the week from 9 to 6 and on Saturday from 9 to 3. Investigators in Arizona are back to square one after a person of interest was arrested and then let go overnight in the disappearance of Savannah Guthrie's mother, Nancy. This happened after a video was released showing a masked man wearing gloves at the front door of Nancy Guthrie's home. Former FBI agent Brad Garrett thinks that guy acted alone.
Saying that a neighbor, the guy lives next door to me. But the primary thing with sort of assessing what he did is it's not professional. He doesn't strike me that he knows what he's doing, and he has a gun.
Savannah Guthrie has been pleading with the public to submit tips to law enforcement. Attorney General Pam Bondi answering questions from Congress members over what was redacted from the Epstein files and why. It comes after Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick admitted that he had more contact with Epstein than he led reporters to believe.
I had another couple they were there as well with their children, and we had lunch on the island.
Lutnick is not charged with any crimes, but some Congress members, including Kentucky Republican Thomas Massey, calling for him to resign. The White House is saying it will require no such thing. A blockbuster January jobs report is out today, and non-farm payrolls rose by 130,000 for January, and that's better than expected. It was expected at 55,000 by economists. Economist Stephen Moore on Fox's Mornings with Maria show.
Private sector employees. Employment is growing, Maria, and public sector, especially federal jobs, are shrinking. That's exactly what we want to see. Right. We want to see the government shrink and private sector job growth. And by the way, Maria, this is exactly the opposite of what we saw under Biden, where we do these job reports every month. And one of the biggest increases in employment was federal hiring, and that's what led to these big deficits.
The unemployment rate edged lower to 4.3%. Now, that report initially sent stocks higher, but right now the Dow Jones Industrials are down 181. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
It's 10:05 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? I'm Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners. You get those at betterwater.com. You can listen to us anywhere. iHeart, TuneIn, the FM dial. You can watch us. Super Talk TV, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Rumble. Hit like, hit subscribe. All the digital platforms have a share button. Help us grow the digital footprint of the radio station. Hit that share button. We appreciate you when you do so. I got my buddies in here. We got Bo Diddle and Gabe Victal. Welcome to the show, guys, once again.
Hello.
Appreciate you guys being in here, as always.
Thank you.
You guys were in Minnesota for 4 days.
Yes.
So lay it on the line, just like kind of like step by step. You get to Minnesota, and I mean, are you excited to go to Minnesota at this point? Like, do you know like that's where the action is?
Yeah, I think yes and no. It's a very nuanced take. Yes, in the sense of we're about to get a lot of good footage, a lot of action, like you said. But at the same time, no, because these people are unbearable. And you just get used to seeing what Gavin Newsom wants to do to California and Tim Walz wants to do to Minnesota. It's lots of transgenderism and liberals, and it's not the most, it's not where you want to spend your free time.
Yeah, and these have to be some of the craziest liberals that like you will see in the entire country. I mean, the only other times where I've been like, these people are insane, like my top 3 are probably LA, San Francisco, 100%, and then Minneapolis.
It's like the worst of the worst.
Yeah, like I wouldn't wish my worst enemy, which is probably one of the liberals, to be in that crowd, you know?
At what point are you nervous about safety? Is safety a big precaution just from the jump? Because you see the videos where they're identifying guys that do what you guys do and you know, following them around. And, you know, you see the videos with Nick Sorter, and I know that you guys know him pretty well. But are you nervous for your safety? Are you worried about being spotted? And what kind of precautions are you putting into place?
Safety is a big precaution. I think where I personally worry the most is doing MOS because of course,
which is man on the streets.
Yeah,
you're asking protesters questions.
Correct. Yes. And I feel like my questions are a little bit more one-sided.
Kind of gives it away.
Yeah, it gives it away easier when we film journalism-esque content like we've been doing. It's not as scary. But where I fear the most is when you're posting it, because we post all of this content in real time as it's happening and as we're getting it. So anytime you watch the Frontlines Twitter page, Frontlines TPUSA, it's always in real time content. And so we're having to write the subtitles and do the captioning and all of that. And anyone can see it if you just walk past me. So that's something that always freaks me out. Is I'm always looking over my shoulder who's watching me write this out.
Are there individuals in those crowds and in those protests who are trying to see what's going on people's phones?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many people who, one, like already knew who we were from when we were there a couple weeks ago. So we tried to, you know, mask up. Like, we were liberal from head to toe. That's what we looked like, right? We tried to blend in as much as possible.
So how do you dress like a liberal?
I mean, all black, shiesties on.
I wouldn't even say liberal. I would just say Antifa.
Yeah,
we looked like Antifa.
You know, overcoats, like that kind of stuff. Now I did have the Grizzlies beanie on, so maybe that might have given it away. But
does that create another element of stress when it comes to the police, that you could be viewed as the protesters?
I mean, that was my biggest concern. Like this weekend was not the liberals, not like Antifa, not any of them coming after us, because a lot of them actually came up to us, introduced themselves, and like started being very friendly to us, thinking, you know, that we were also liberal.
One of us.
Exactly, right? Yeah. And then, like, I almost got arrested. Like on Saturday. Yeah. So it was like one of these moments where I'm like, dude, the police are coming after us. And obviously, you know, they are trying to institute law and order and get the people who are like disrupting law enforcement. That's totally fair. I totally agree. But, you know, that is like a risk that it comes with while dressing up as one of these people. I'll just be guilty by association.
What saved him was the press badge.
Yeah.
On Thursday, I almost got arrested, and it's because I didn't have my press badge. I'm an idiot. I always procrastinate. I'm like, I'll just get ready, you know, 2 minutes before we got to leave. I forgot my press badge, and this was a full-on riot.
Yeah.
And so we get there, and they're going over the intercom. You have 10 minutes to leave. We're going to start arresting people. Of course, we're journalists. We can't leave, so we're not abiding by those orders, but at the same time, we're not doing anything wrong. So anyways, we're just recording. And the way the police work, when they start getting ready to arrest is they box you in. So you can't leave to the north, you can't leave to the south, east, or west. They have you completely boxed in. And we got completely boxed in because we didn't leave.
Which, what kind of police is it at that moment? Because I was
police.
So, but that's local police. That's Minneapolis riot police.
Yeah, state riot police.
So it's state police.
Because I was following your content in real time on the Frontlines TPUSA account. And I mean, there's a line of police officers that are just moving towards you guys. So you're saying at that point, they didn't know your press.
Correct. Because we didn't, which this is something we need to get. We don't have any press identification other than our badge.
Yeah.
So once they ask, like, hey, are you press? Yeah, we can show it to them. Which that day or that night, I couldn't because I had forgotten it. I had it on my phone. But I got very, very lucky. When they boxed us in, they all start screaming, you're under arrest, just sit down. And one guy in front of us said, I'm press. Gabe then follows him and says, I'm press too, shows him the badge. I confidently get behind Gabe and say, I'm press too. Don't have anything to show, but maybe my good looks and charm got me away with it, and he let me out. But that was terrifying.
What happens if you get arrested in that situation? Have you kind of game planned that out? Like, what happens if you do get arrested?
We've talked to some of our friends who have gotten arrested.
Yeah.
It's fairly easy. They never book you. Like, if you're press, they'll take you in. They'll see that you're not one of their usual suspects, basically, and you can just explain, like, hey, I'm press for this media outlet or whatever, this organization, and typically they'll let you out. Unless they're really, wanting to put boot to, what.
There was another time that was really scary, and this was one. Moral of the story: the same way you're driving, you never look down. I, as a reporter, should never look down, and I was on my phone for, I kid you not, like 3 seconds, and in that time, they're all making arrests, and this guy is just provoking them. He has a bullhorn, and I'm not recording him because I'm like, hey, he's just gonna keep doing it. Man, they chased after him like in a split second, and I almost get tackled or ran over. They go so fast, and it would have been the best footage that I wish everyone could have saw, but it all happened so quick, you couldn't do anything about it. I couldn't get my phone out in time.
Is that the guy that took his shoes off?
Yeah, the guy that took his shoes off.
So night one, you're getting boxed in, you're almost getting arrested. How does that situation get resolved? Like, how does a riot like that end?
I mean, they just keep threatening arrests over and over again.
No. They were still going. What got them to stop was that radioactive...
the LRAD device.
They were breaking those out.
Yeah.
So is that like it's kind of like an energy weapon, but it uses sound, right?
Correct. It's basically like a big projected sound, non-lethal, or it's supposed to be non-lethal. I mean, you can die from it if enough blood vessels pop, but it's supposed to be non-lethal to disperse crowds. They didn't use it, but they brought it out, and that's what had a lot of protesters
I think that
leave.
the protesters knew if they did not leave, it was going to be used.
Yeah.
Because at this point, it's been over an hour. They're still not leaving. They're still taunting the police. A lot of them have been arrested, but some of them still haven't been. And they brought it out and they ran away.
Yeah, by the end of it, there was 3 protesters. And
have you been at a protest before where that has been pulled out?
No.
Pulled out? Yes, but used no, never.
What was the other one we were at?
Well, it was Minneapolis. Again, it was the last time. And then they also pulled it out again on Saturday.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But they didn't use it.
Yeah,
they never used it.
No. Not from what I know, I just...
What is it like to get hit with one of those? I'm sure you've had conversations with other guys that are doing the work that you're
Everyone
doing.
freaks out about it.
Yeah.
All of the protesters, they were running and they were like, you do not want to get hit with that.
They say it's like the worst experience in the world, worse than getting pepper sprayed or, shot with pepper bullets. They're like, it's excruciatingly painful.
So this is definitely a change.
Mm-hmm.
The increase in force from these local authorities.
Yeah. I would say this is all because of Tom Homan. I mean, he really talked to Tim Walz. I don't know what was said, but whatever it was, Tom Homan definitely struck some fear into him. enough to where leftists were protesting Tim Walz at the governor's mansion at his house.
Yeah, that was the next
on Friday. And, they were just screaming at him, saying he was a traitor, a sellout. Why would you do this? You're letting the police victimize and go after these innocent black people and illegal immigrants.
That's interesting because that was one of my questions. Do the protesters and the rioters in Minneapolis feel energized and invigorated? Do they get more oxygen given to them when Tom Homan makes the announcement that they're drawing down? Or are they pissed that there seems to be more cooperation between state and federal?
I mean,
it's a good question.
Yeah, like I would say that some of these crowds were bigger and others were smaller, but it just really depends. Like, there's protests going on in multiple places, and we can only be at so many places at once. But for example, like on what was it? It was Saturday. We went to a protest at the Capitol, and there was probably about 100 to 150 people there. There was also a protest at a university earlier that day that had about 50 people there. And then at the same time as the Capitol protest, there was people at the Whipple building, and there was like 300 to 400 protesters there. So like, just because we look at one protest and it like might be smaller than the last time, it could give us the perception that like maybe they're dying down. But there's multiple protests all over the city. So, I mean, it could be any number.
Every day, too. It's not even like this is a weekend thing.
Yeah.
If we were to go right now, we would be filming something.
Yeah, really? Like the coverage, and I'm so glad that Frontlines has been doing this at Turning Point, is like we've been basically taking shifts, like each of the reporters. Jonathan Cho was just there before us, and he was there for like a week.
Yeah.
And
he's a beast, too.
Yeah, he's incredible. Shout out
Cho.
Yeah,
Yep.
We love Cho.
You should get him on the show.
We've had him on. We've had him on. He's
call
fantastic.
Back in. He's amazing.
But yeah, I mean, he was there, and then we take this shift, and we'll probably be back there soon enough, to be honest.
I mean, I told our manager, I was like, we should probably go back like this weekend. So if we can't find anything else, there's a good chance we're going to wind up in Minneapolis again this weekend.
Are you guys, are you dealing with the pepper spray? You mentioned that you're kind of dressed up like the Antifa members. How much pepper spray are you getting hit with? And what does that look like?
They've not used much pepper spray.
Yeah.
The first time we were there, they did. They were using some, but we didn't get hit with any.
The most I saw get used, other than like literally just officers like going and arresting people, was on Saturday after that big group of arrests happened, like the 50 arrests on camera or whatever. There were still protesters that were like holding the line on the other side of the parking lot. I wasn't able to get any clear footage of any of this, so you can just kind of hear it in the background, and I don't think we posted any of it because it wasn't really worth it. But there were officers that shot like pepper bullets at those protesters to like literally just get them out. And you can smell it in the air. It's a very pungent smell.
It's rough. I hate that.
Yeah, because we were in Portland.
Experienced it in Portland.
Yeah, when we were in Portland, like they shot it at the ground, and it reeks. But
makes you sneeze like crazy.
Minneapolis, I haven't.
Have either of you been hit directly with it before?
No.
I don't know how close we got to it. I know it wasn't too close.
No. I mean, it was shot at the ground. I mean, there's people who have literally been hit by it.
I've talked to Savannah Hernandez, and she's been hit with it, and she's like, it's one of the worst things that you can deal with because, like, you go to, like, rinse it off, but the water actually reactivates the pepper spray, and what you really need is milk. Like, you really need to be pouring milk all over yourself.
Yeah, I've never been pepper sprayed. I hope that is not like a challenge,
Yeah.
It's not a bucket list?
Yeah, it's not something that I want to happen.
I do have to say, one of the funniest things from Saturday was they were holding the line, the protesters. They had these real intimidating black posters, and they were trying to hold it like it was a shield. And the police were just like, you're now under arrest. And it was just like that.
Yeah.
The police just grab the signs, rip it in half, throw it on the ground, and everyone's just crying and screaming. It was such a beautiful sight to see.
It was awesome.
What's the scene like in front of the Whipple building? What does security look like? What's the perimeter like? Can you give me like a lay of the land on that? Because I know that they had tried to put up a fence at one point, and then protesters tore down a fence, and then they were ordered not to put up a fence. What does the security look like outside that Whipple building? And what do the protests look like there? Because it seems like that's one of the areas where it's the most intense.
Yeah.
That was where it got most intense this past weekend, for sure. There were probably, what did you say, 150 protesters there?
No, there was more. There was like 300 to 400
300 to 400 protesters, and there was three to five cops just watching them. But then they got word that the riot police were getting called in, and so they started to prepare for that. But really, the scenes of it, they were throwing sexual toys onto cop cars and onto the federal grounds.
I feel like that's a new development, the suction cupping of dildos on vehicles.
Yeah, I didn't know if I was allowed to say dildo on the show, but yeah, it was, I mean,
it seems
you
really
should have
weird.
seen the pile of them. It's like the Whipple building, and then there's literally like a lawn full of dildos, and then one fence, and then where the officers were, which, there was dildos getting suction cupped to their cars, and then like another fence that was broken and breached.
Is it weird? Yes, but that's also like the most liberal thing you could do. If I thought of how is a liberal going to defend themselves and attack back, it would be using dildos.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I think that's the most liberal thing you could do. Let's use sexual toys to fight back. So
was this on, I don't know if we posted this or if someone else did, because when we're at these things, we're getting different footage too. Like, I will go to one side, but I think there was a video of a guy like suction cupping 2 dildos to his forehead or something.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yours? Oh yeah. And then there was a girl, very promiscuous, like holding it up to her breasts and saying that this is for the cops, and she was going to use it on them, and she was saying it all like seductively freaky. I was like,
so weird.
It is weird, but it's like that's what I expect out of a liberal.
Yeah.
To me, this is normal for a liberal.
Okay, so a lot of the conversations that these protesters are paid and they're professional agitators.
Yeah.
How much of that do you think is happening in Minnesota? How much of it is locals? And do you have any evidence? Do you see them getting bussed in if you think that they're paid ops coming in from out of state?
Dude, I don't think these are. I'm going to be for real. These people are not paid. These people
they're just doing it for the love of the game.
They are jobless.
I'll rebuttal that. So I think that the ones that are protesting at the Whipple building, the ones that are protesting these hotels, these aren't paid protesters. But with that being said, I would not be shocked at all if these massive marches that you see in Minnesota, where tens of thousands of people come out to attend, these are all nonviolent protesters that look like they don't really have much reasoning to be there. I would say some of those are paid.
I mean, I'd almost say the opposite, that the ones that like are getting paid are probably the ones who are trying to rile the crowd up. I don't know. Like, there obviously there's like could be multiple perspectives, but think about like people at the Whipple building that leave after like the first round. Like the ones that are like, hardcore, like ready to basically die for some like brown Somali is, they are probably not getting paid. But like the people who are right before them, like, I don't know, they could. I mean, I don't think so specifically.
Here's another question that I have for you guys.
Yeah.
And I've noticed this a couple times, or maybe there's a lack of noticing. How many Somalians are in the protests?
So glad you asked that question. I can't tell you how many are in a protest, but I can tell you how many drive Ubers.
Oh
my goodness. I'll tell you my favorite thing about Minneapolis. You order an Uber, it's there in 2 minutes. Somalis, they know where to make money, and it's Uber.
That's their number one job.
Oh my gosh. Every car we got was a Somali. And I mean, I'm not complaining when it's there in 2 minutes,
I've met probably more Somalis at this than like Mexicans at ICE protests.
Really?
Like just driving Uber. Like literally, we've been in probably 20 Ubers.
Introduced one to Dr. Pepper. He had never had a Dr. Pepper before, so told him about it. It was.
Is that not haram?
I mean, probably not. I don't think soda's haram.
Not all there. I don't think. I don't know how he legally could drive.
But they're not at the actual protests.
There's a few.
Dude, like No, like not at these, not at the Whipple building, not at the Capitol.
No, not at the Whipple
those.
building.
Like
no.
maybe at the big marches.
At the big marches, there's some.
But again, you know, and this is, I don't know if you had mentioned this, but I know John Doyle talked about it on his show a little bit ago. A lot of people, and this is very, you know, specific to like Somalis and also just blacks in general, they show up to these protests because it's just fun for them. Like they are just messing around. Like they do not care about the cause. They just think it's a crazy spectacle to be in like a protest that is marching down a public road. Like it's just like an activity for them. You know, they don't actually care about the issues. That's where we'll see like a lot of Somalis, a lot of just Muslims in general. And then we'll see, you know, a lot of African Americans as well.
We got Bo Diddle and Gabe Victal in studio. You guys got a lot of footage from Minnesota over the weekend. Some of it even making its way onto Fox News, which I was very excited for both of you guys. Putting in the hard work, putting yourselves in the line of fire to be able to get that has been awesome. We'll talk more about that on the way. In the meantime, I got to tell you guys about my friends at Zero Res. I got 4 kids, 2 dogs, and the carpets, they take a beating. Maybe you had a Super Bowl party over the weekend, and you've been staring at a queso stain in your carpet for, 3 days now? Stop staring at it. Call my friends at Zero Res. They're the Maha of carpet cleaning. They're going to use their exclusive ZR water. No soap, no harsh chemicals, no residue. Your carpets and upholstery aren't just going to look insanely clean. They're going to stay clean longer. They don't stop at carpets. They do the works. Air ducts, tile, rugs, upholstery, everything. Call them today. They're going to take care of you. 615-535-9376. That's 615-535-9376. And you can always book online. If you don't like talking to people, I don't blame you. ZeroResNashville.com.
I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. A bill being debated in the state legislature puts immigration status front and center in Tennessee.
It would require city and county agencies to verify people's immigration status when adults apply for public benefits. And this includes things like housing help, homelessness services, and public health programs, plus child care assistance as well. Supporters say this measure closes gaps in the system and it protects taxpayer dollars.
Channel 4's Joylyn Bukovic there. Those against it want to keep even illegal aliens on welfare in Tennessee. Now, this bill also requires anyone who is determined to not be a citizen to be reported to the immigration office. An arrest now in a shooting outside the Justice Birch Courthouse that happened in November. 22-year-old Ricora Walker arrested yesterday while she was at work. News 2's Haley Walgus.
Police say the victim was in a car stopped outside the Birch Courthouse on 2nd Avenue North. When the car behind her started honking, she got out and the shooter fired, hitting her in the shoulder.
And the victim suffered minor injuries. Now, the woman who was arrested yesterday was driving the getaway car. She has so far refused to identify the shooter. TMZ host Harvey Levin says he's gotten another letter regarding the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie. This one, he tells Fox News, is from someone who claims they know who the kidnapper is and wants 1 Bitcoin deposited into an account for the information. Levin says it is a real Bitcoin address. That is the latest news. We've got your weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here from my friends at USS, United Structural Systems. These guys are the absolute best. You can trust them when it matters. A couple weeks ago, we had Winter Storm Fern come through, and the freezing melted. Now you're getting water, and it's getting into your basement. It's getting into your crawl space. That saturated ground and foundations have been stressed by it. The snow, the ice, the melting water. When that happens, people don't want excuses. They want people that show up and actually help them. This is why you got to call United Structural Systems. You see, they've been doing this since 1994. Over 30,000 satisfied customers. These guys are in the business of repairing foundation caused by severe weather. They'll fix that damage. They see this stuff year after year. And they don't just fix structures. They'll restore stability, safety, peace of mind. And they live out those values. In early March, USS is going to be supporting Habitat for Humanity once again. This is going to be their 10th year doing it. Major milestone. And in Ashland City, they have about 25 USS volunteers framing and installing roof trusses for a family in need. This is what it looks like to show up when it matters most. If you're dealing with foundation issues, especially after severe weather, connect with a company committed to quality and community. Connect with USS. 615-488-7855. 615-488-7855. USSTN.com.
Want to understand Bitcoin for real? Welcome to Private Key Nashville in Cool Springs, offering Bitcoin classes, loans for Bitcoin, Bitcoin mining, and meetups. Learn, protect, own your future. Visit us at privatekey.nashville.io.
from the Beacon Capital Management Weather Center.
.37 Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Show is brought to you by Better Water LLC, and you can listen to it anywhere. iHeartRadio, tune in, the FM dial. You can watch us, Super Talk TV, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Rumble. You'll get to see how good-looking Bo and Gabe are in person if you join us on YouTube.
Some better than others.
Okay. What's up, guys? How are you?
Doing good. I'm having a great time.
You guys have had a busy weekend, and I think before we jump back into that, where can we keep up with the content that you guys are filming? I think that, like you were talking about posting this stuff in real time. You spent 4 days in Minneapolis.
Yeah.
Where can we find that footage, and where can we find more of your footage in general?
Frontlines Turning Point USA is where everything is posted in real time. That's where I would always direct people, because even if we're not in Minneapolis, someone is posting in real time too. So you can keep up with all of the riots, all of the protests, everything just by going on X and typing in Frontlines TPUSA. Yeah. For me, it's no longer Diddle TV. I don't know if you noticed.
No, I didn't know that.
But thanks to
I'm
Elon,
hearing this for the first time.
Thanks to Muskie, you can change and request a handle, and so I have Bo Diddle now.
Let's go.
I'm now Bo Diddle on all platforms, not just Instagram and YouTube. I have X, so it is just at Bo Diddle, BODITTLE.
Yeah, I mean, you can find, I guess, the work I do on his platforms as well, Bo Diddle, and then also Frontlines TPUSA. I'd specifically, just on X, on Instagram, we're trying to grow it as well, so please do follow the Frontlines page on Instagram. But on X, you'll get a lot more, like instant reports about stuff. Yesterday, Monica Page, our White House correspondent, was with Pete Hegseth all day, so she has a ton of great stuff out there right now.
She's a beast. Yeah, we're all jealous. She's like gets to hang out with Hegseth. She's going to like SpaceX, and now she's like,
I want to say I'm a little jealous, but she deserves it more. I mean, she's carrying around a baby right now. Pretty badass, to be honest. Like, I think she deserves it.
We love Monica Page.
Oh, we do.
She huge fan.
Shout out, Monica.
All right, so Minneapolis over the weekend.
Yes.
Tell me about the Whipple Building. What do they do at the Whipple Building?
That's a great question. I want to know that too.
You look at these people. I mean, it's blaring music. First off, they never play like good music. Okay, it's not even like they're playing like rap or anything. They're playing like these random liberal like songs that make like no sense. Like, I don't even know. It's just they're don't
playing
play
Bad Bunny.
Yeah, basically, but not even like, I don't even know. It's just horrible music. It smells bad always.
Does the music sound like this?
Yeah.
Yeah, like basically like stuff like that. Like, I don't even know. It's just horrible. But they're always playing music. They're yelling, cheering, blowing whistles. They actually, this is something that I don't know if I took pictures for it. I don't know if we posted about it, but they 3D printed whistles for everybody. And they were handing out like these buckets. And I actually took 3 of them. One of them actually had the number on it if you get arrested, like the phone number that you should call to get like a lawyer or something. Or I forget what the actual website is that like it connects you to, but basically there's like this source where you should call if you get arrested unconstitutionally, they believe, even though they are deemed unconstitutional protests that they are having after a certain point.
I also think it's also important to point out with these protests, like, you have the right to peacefully assemble.
Yeah.
Once you start throwing bricks and sexual toys at the officers, I feel like you're crossing lines.
Well, and beyond that, when it's past 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and you're making noise,
like
you're
right
gonna get in trouble
apartment
with that.
buildings,
Like,
too.
There's noise ordinances and stuff of that nature.
Let's keep it basic and say you're staying at a hotel and you're making too much noise. You're going to get complained on, and people are going to go up there and say, hey, be quiet. If you don't abide, you're going to get kicked out of that hotel.
I mean,
they think that this is unconstitutional when this is just general basic laws and how the United States works and has always worked.
Yeah, like these people that are at these hotels and live in these apartment buildings, a lot better than me, because I would have, if I knew that people were protesting like right below me, I would be buying water balloons and filling them up, like, and just having them ready, you know, just whipping them down at these protesters. Like, it would just annoy me.
But so many people, and so many people on the internet have said, why haven't you brought out the fire hoses to just douse these guys and freeze them out?
They should.
They should, yeah. I mean, it's super cold in Minneapolis. Like,
Yeah, what was the temperature all weekend that you were there?
Not as bad as the first time.
Yeah, the first time was horrible.
This time it was 20.
Yeah, it was.
Last time it was 0.
Anywhere between 15, 20. But yeah, the last time it was right before that big snowstorm. We were in Minneapolis, and it was like, it was just the worst. It was snowing super hard, and 0 negatives.
We were in D.C. when that snowstorm actually happened, which was actually where I met Mike Pence.
Oh, yeah. Bo met Mike Pence. And he posted a photo. You posted a photo with Mike Pence, and you got roasted for it.
I would like to get the 99.7 crowd involved and just ask a question to the audience, if I may. Hypothetically, you guys are walking down the street, and you see a vice president, and you ask for a picture with him, and he obliges and says, yes, sir, you can have a picture with me. Would you post said picture online? I ask that question to you guys, and please do whatever you can to let me know your answers. I think the obvious answer is yes. He's a historical figure. He's going to go down in history books. At one point, he was the second most important person in the United States. Why would you not post a picture with the vice president? Yes, he might have done Trump wrong, but that doesn't change the fact that he was the vice president. I got a lot of hate from my not-so-friendly cameraman and friend, Gabe. I'd like for him to try to defend his position.
To be fair, Gabe also took a picture with Mike Pence.
I did. So let me set the scene for everybody, okay? We are walking down the street. We are going to, I think we're trying to walk in the
Ford's
direction
Theater.
of Ford's Theater because Bo's lovely wife, Madison, was with us, and she really is obsessed with the assassination of Abraham Lincoln for some reason. So, which is, sweet. It was cool. I actually got a letter from Ford's Theater in the mail yesterday. So it was cool. And we're walking, and Bo is talking as usual, yapping, and I turn my head and I go, hey, that's Mike Pence. Because he was just walking there, maybe one security guard with him and then like his assistant. And Bo goes, what? And he starts recording him, right?
I looked like a weirdo.
He looked like a weirdo. Like he just started recording Mike Pence. And I was like, well, go up to him. Like we should just ask for a picture if you want to like savor this moment or something. So he goes over, he shakes his hand.
I run up behind him and say, Mr. Vice President.
Yeah. So, they shake hands, they take a picture, and then like I get in for a group photo. So I took a picture. Yes. What I disagree with is posting that picture because I don't like Mike Pence, okay? I am taking the picture for the spectacle of it, okay? It is like just a funny thing, a cool thing that this is who this person is, and I get to take a picture with them because they are just randomly walking on the streets. That doesn't mean that I'm going to post a picture with them endorsing them, but I'm also not going to endorse them. Hold on. But I'm not going to make fun of them.
I think the caption said Mike Pence 48.
Definitely not.
I think it said something along those lines.
It said something like that.
But no, I mean, listen, I don't think that posting the picture is very smart. It does give the impression that you are friendly or at least like tolerate Mike Pence. I think that he not only sold out Trump, but I think he sold out the American people. And I also think that he sold out financially after the fact as well, going on several tours, like bashing Trump and bashing the administration, which are just, I don't know. Personally, I think it's unacceptable. I think it's political suicide. And I think that associating yourself with a person like that is also political suicide. But, don't take my word for it. Take Bo's lovely wives' words for it because she agrees with me.
Yeah, she also said it was stupid. And
because it is. Shout out Madison.
I don't see what's stupid about taking a picture with an ex-vice president and posting it. I'm not endorsing the guy. I'm simply saying this is awesome. I just met an ex-vice president. I did not endorse him. I did not say anything that would. But it's also important to note where we were when we took the picture. We were at the March for Life. He was speaking at the March for Life.
Well, no, he wasn't. That's incorrect.
But
Hold
he was
on.
doing an event
for the
at the
record.
March for
He was
Life.
holding a counter event to the March for Life.
He was doing an event.
He was holding a pro-life event counter to
He
the
was
March for
not
Life.
countering
Yes,
the
he was
event.
because they blacklisted him from speaking at the March for Life because he went after Trump and because J.D. Vance was speaking at the March.
Well, then
for Life.
why was it when he said, "Are you guys marching?" That is amazing. Why was he so happy about it?
Well, because he's a pro-life guy.
That's my point. Hold on.
He was holding a counter event.
Hold on. But that is my point. We are marching for life. Whether he is holding a counter event or not, we're there for the same reasons in the fight for life. And I think that's important to note. You may not agree with everything that he's done, but he was an advocate for life.
I'm not saying that I dislike him being pro-life. I love that he's pro-life. That's great.
I'm just saying he's a strong figure.
Here's the question that a lot of people on the text line are posing. Would you take a picture with Kamala and post it?
Yes. Without
I think
hesitation.
that's better. I would take a picture with Kamala Harris and post it and make fun of her, though. I think that Mike Pence is such a middle-of-the-road, borderline treasonous person that it's like not even funny to make fun of him. You know, but it's funny to make fun of the lady who had the most failed presidential run in American history.
I would undoubtedly take a picture with her and post it, but I would also definitely like meme it to death. You know, I'm not just going to be unbiased the way I was with Mike Pence. I would definitely be memeing the crap out of it. So, yes, but I mean, I would handle it differently.
The audience is split. It's like 50-50.
Listen, I would I mean, you know, I'm the biggest J.D. Vance fan anybody will ever meet. So obviously, maybe I'm biased against Mike Pence to a significant margin.
Get to the
but
point.
I also just, you know, I just don't think it's a smart. I think I also come from the perspective of like, you know, me and Bo work together. I work for Bo. And I just don't think from a business perspective, it is a smart idea to, on your X profile, where everybody is very hostile on X.
And Ultra MAGA.
And Ultra MAGA. To then post a picture with Mike Pence. I think it's just a dumb decision.
And I get that.
From like a content creator
I get that, but I'm also not going to change my views and belief systems based off what I think my viewers want to see. If I believe something or if I think something is cool, I'm going to share it because I think it's cool. I'm not going to hide and say, oh, I might lose followers for this. If you want to unfollow me for taking a picture with an ex-vice president, well, then screw you. I didn't want you to follow me in the first place.
I mean, listen.
Unfollow him, Gabe. Just unfollow him. Just do it.
With that being said, please don't unfollow me.
All right, hey, back to the Whipple building.
Yeah, sorry. Let's get back to Minneapolis.
There was a scene outside the Whipple building where you guys were there, and I made the comment. It looked like the Stampede in The Lion King when they made an announcement, stay where you are, you're all under arrest. And this footage went super viral, went everywhere. Fox News picked it up, which I was excited for both you guys. What was the scene like on the ground with those protesters?
Absolutely insane.
So backstory, I was sick. That was the day that was the worst for me. I could not manage, and I did my best to manage the first place we went. And I told him, I was like, listen, it's about to get crazy. I was like, but I literally can't take it anymore. I was like, I got to go back to the hotel and get some sleep. And so this was all Gabe. I was not there. He managed and did amazing work. So, yeah, that's all him.
He was at the Whipple building for a lot of the time. But before it got, like, absolutely ballistic, he did leave. I trekked through. I think I actually trespassed on like some school or whatever. Like I was just cutting through to try to get to the back end of the protest because we saw the caravan full of the riot police basically start pulling in through the entrance that we had originally walked through. So we get there. I am telling myself, I'm like, listen, I need to be a man. I got to grow a pair here. if I get arrested, I get arrested. I was like, I don't care. I'm doing it for the footage, right?
Yep.
So they bring out the LRAD again, like right at the beginning before they start marching. And this time I'm legitimately convinced that they are about to blare this thing off. So I start asking protesters, I'm like, who has ear protection? They give me earplugs. So I literally take my whole face disguise off, my shiesty, my mask that goes like all the way up to my nose. Take it all off. I plug in, I put in earplugs. I can barely hear anything. I cover back up. And then I start going to like right where the riot police are. And I start filming and backing up. I'm walking backwards, but obviously, the path isn't clear. It's not like a clear path. It's a ton of bushes, ton of branches, a ton of, rocks and stuff like that and snow. And, I get footage of one of the officers saying, hey, where's your press credentials to a different guy? And then a different officer grabs my arm and turns me around, says, hey, you're under arrest. And I start struggling a bit. And with my left arm, I was able to grab my press badge and show him that I was press. And he was like, oh, you're press? All right, then get the F out of here. And he pushes me away. And, obviously I didn't leave the whole scene, but I stayed a bit distanced. I distanced myself. But I got some great footage of a lady getting absolutely decked by a female state trooper getting arrested. I was up close and personal basically with that.
How many arrests do you think happened at that moment?
So there was waves. So there was basically 3 or maybe 2.5 waves, right? So there was the first wave of arrests, which there was probably anywhere from 15 to 20 people arrested. And then there was a small wave where I saw 2 or 3 people get arrested. And then the state police and the riot police, they put a barricade up, just kind of a what's that tape, the police tape they use? Yeah. They put up a line and they tied it to a tree, and it was very windy that day. So it blew off. And the protesters took that as, oh, well, we're going to step up to where the line blew off. So then the police put it on the tree, and there was a blonde, what I can only assume is a transsexual with a blue jacket, went over and literally cut the tape. And within 2 seconds, there was the announcement over the speakers or whatever saying this is an unlawful it was whoever the chief is there, he says his name, he's this is chief such and such, we have deemed this an unlawful assembly because you guys are impeding in law enforcement acts. Stay where you are. You're all under arrest. And then just instantly,
it was the Lion King the Lion King stampede.
It was insane. It was crazy. And I started sprinting away as well, which is that video that Fox News has posted. It got 17 million views on Instagram.
It was unbelievable. And you guys you're thinking you might be going back this weekend.
There's a chance.
Yeah. I have talked with, which I'll leave him nameless, but I talked to somebody who has been down in Minneapolis and helped us. We do need to introduce ourselves to the police. So, yeah, I'm excited to go.
Well, looking forward to it. We're going to have you guys back in after the next protest. Where can we keep up with your footage in the meantime? One more time.
Frontlines TPUSA and Bo Diddle.
Yeah.
At Frontlines TPUSA, at Bo Diddle. Appreciate you guys putting yourselves in the line of fire. I approve of everything other than the picture with Mike Pence.
Absolutely.
So we'll talk more about that later. Bo Diddle and Gabe Victal, appreciate you guys. Hey, real quick, joining me on the line right now, one of the best friends of the show that we could ever have, our friend Lenny McGill from the Glock store. Lenny, I may have started a rumor about the Glock store. You guys were out of power for a few weeks. And I said, you've heard of people working by candlelight, but the guys at the Glock store have had to work by muzzle flash. Can you confirm or deny that is true?
It's very, very, very creative. Well, we were actually closed down for 10 days with no power. Crazy. I know it affected a lot of people in Nashville, and I'm glad everybody's back up and running. I hope that everybody's safe. But our building was closed, and we basically could not operate. So we're back now, and we are catching up, and our store's open. And we had a lot of people drive up, and it's like, oh, I'm sorry, we closed, and so they were understanding. But here we are. And just wanted to let everybody know we're back. We've got some exciting things happening, in the Glock world for sure, and wanted to, get on the radio with you guys.
Yeah, man, you got some big deals going on there, and you got the brand new Gen 6 Glocks, which are just beautiful and fantastic. Tell me a little bit about those things.
Well, yeah, the Gen 6 is now the new offering from Glock, and it was just introduced really at the SHOT Show, which was in January in Las Vegas. And we were there, and we managed to get a big shipment in just yesterday. So I have 75 that came in. I think 40 of them were already spoken. So there's like 35 left, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And I've got them in the retail store. So if someone is out there listening and thinking about a Gen 6 Glock 19, we've got them in stock right now, this moment. This weekend, they'll probably be gone.
I love it, and I love the Glock store. It's the best place to train. Is it the best doubles date in history to go for a training session in the Shoot 270 indoors room for Valentine's Day at the Glock store?
Absolutely, because we have private shoot rooms that are, allows you and your partner or you and your group to be in a room with an instructor, and there's no one else shooting there. And so it's really all about you, and we can set up and design a class for your skill level. So whether you're brand new and you've never shot before, you don't have to have anybody looking at you, worrying about what they're thinking. Or if you're skilled and you want to get better, we can take you to the next level.
Yeah, and it's such a great excuse, man. So many people want their wives to get trained and get used to a firearm and, know how to use it. A double date at the Glock store, that's the perfect excuse to get the foot in the door, right?
And Valentine's Day is this weekend.
Amen. Lenny McGill at the Glock store. We appreciate what you guys are doing. We appreciate you being great sponsors of the show. Minutes from the airport, worth the drive from anywhere. Always open online, glockstore.com.
Eleven o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Drivers, Talbot's Corner. We've got a crash. Actually, this is a stalled semi. blocking the right exit lane right there, 24 eastbound before 65 north. Now in Mount Juliet, we do have a crash. That's Lebanon Road westbound at Green Hill Road. Full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. Well, the Federal Aviation Administration has lifted a temporary flight restriction that was in effect for several hours over El Paso, Texas this morning. ABC News national correspondent Stephen Portnoy has the latest from Washington.
Trump administration officials say the closure was sparked by the incursion of drones operated by cartels into U.S. airspace. Experts say such incursions along the border in El Paso are actually quite common. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says the FAA and the U.S. military acted swiftly to address the threat, which he says has now been neutralized. Officials have not explained why the closure was hastily scheduled rather than applied immediately, nor have they said why it was initially set to last 10 days.
Investigators in Arizona are back to square one after a person of interest was detained and then let go in the disappearance of Savannah Guthrie's mother, Nancy. The Today host has been pleading with the public to submit tips to law enforcement. This after a video was released at Nancy Guthrie's home that showed a person in a ski mask at the front door attempting to conceal the camera with a plant. ABC News contributor and former FBI agent Brad Garrett says he believes whoever took Nancy Guthrie acted alone.
You may get a tip saying that a neighbor, the guy lives next door to me. But the primary thing with sort of assessing what he did is it's not professional. He doesn't strike me that he knows what he's doing, and he has a gun.
Here in Tennessee, a new bill in the legislature would require local governments to verify the immigration status of anyone applying for local public benefits. It expands an existing state law that already applies to state-run programs. And Channel 4's Braden Ross breaks down last night's Metro Council meeting on the response to the winter storm.
Tuesday night, Metro Council members questioned leaders from several departments, the Office of Emergency Management, Metro Water Services, and DOT, but it was representatives from NES that spent the most time in the hot seat.
We did not meet the expectations of our customers.
They fielded questions about everything from staffing.
We are going to make sure that we have additional contracts lined up
to supporting people with critical care needs.
There were several nursing homes that weren't in our list.
To tree trimming.
We did not do specific actions through leading up to this storm, but I think absolutely as we learned from this, a commitment to every action leading into this type of an event, you will see us make those.
As far as removing any NES leadership, Mayor Freddie O'Connell said last week he does not have the legal authority, but he says a unanimous vote of the Metro Council can remove board members. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
It's 11:08, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? I'm Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners. You get those at betterwater.com. You can listen to the show anywhere. iHeart, TuneIn, the FM dial. You can watch us. Super Talk TV, up and running. Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Rumble. Hit like, hit subscribe, hit share. We appreciate you doing so. Phone lines are open. Text lines open, 615-737-9986. We got Mason Fleming producing. We got Ken Weaver in the newsroom. And we got you guys, and we appreciate y'all being here. A lot to get to, only a little bit of time. I'm skimming through some of the Pam Bondi hearing stuff. It's still ongoing, so we don't have all of the audio. We do have some points where she's been asked about the Epstein files. This is Pam Bondi answering a question about the Epstein file. I haven't heard this yet. I'm going to listen and react in real time with all of you. Pam Bondi on the Epstein files.
The Dow right now is over. The Dow is over $50,000. I don't know why you're laughing. You're a great stock trader, as I hear, Raskin. The Dow is over 50,000 right now. The S&P at almost 7,000. And the NASDAQ smashing records. Americans' 401ks and retirement savings are booming. That's what we should be talking about. We should be talking about making Americans safe. We should be talking about, what does a Dow have to do with anything? That's what they just asked. Are you kidding?
Mr. Jordan, Mr. Jordan.
So apparently she was asked about the Epstein files, and she said what we should be talking about is other topics like the economy, not the Epstein network. Not a good look. She was also, weird moment. Apparently this one's going viral. Rep. Pramila Jayapal demanded Bondi apologize for releasing too many Epstein files.
Attorney General Bondi, you apologized to the survivors in your opening statement for what they went through at the hands of Jeffrey Epstein. Will you turn to them now and apologize for what your Department of Justice has put them through with the absolutely unacceptable release of the Epstein files and their information?
Oh, okay. So she's mad that there was some names that weren't redacted in the 3 million files. I'm getting it now. I mean, what are you going to do? There's 3 million files. Everybody knew that something was going to be messed up. They were mad that they weren't being released soon enough. Now they're mad that names weren't redacted. I would just say I think these Epstein victims want accountability and want justice more than anything else. As we kind of dive through more of this Pam Bondi stuff, we'll bring it to you, and I'm sure Benson and Murphy will have it later on in their shows as well. We're just trying to navigate through this in real time. I did see one video where Jerry Nadler, this is at the hearing as it's about to kick off. He is asleep at his little seat there, and a staffer had to go wake him up. It's embarrassing. That is embarrassing. But hey, it's Jerry Nadler. What do you expect? We'll bring you more of this on the way later on today, I am sure. If not, we'll have all of it tomorrow on the show, and we'll have a well-formulated opinion of it. It's just hard to react to it in real time as it is still ongoing. A lot of shouting matches in this oversight hearing with Pam Bondi and members of Congress, but we'll bring you all of that in due time, I promise you. In the meantime, Donald Trump sat down for an interview yesterday with Larry Kudlow, and he was very, very much focused on the economy, which has been booming. We've seen the new job numbers that came out today, which was very, very positive for the Trump administration, coming in at double the expectations, and the experts once again wrong. The National Economic Council Director Kevin Hassett was talking about this a little while ago on Fox Business.
Labor force participation, the percentage of Americans that are looking for a job or have a job, actually went to its highest level since 2001. So actually people are coming back off the sidelines into the labor market because they see the high wage growth, all the factory starts and so on. And so that's thing one. Thing two is that because we've been reducing government workers, federal government workers so much, about 360,000 this year, that the jobs numbers actually kind of understate how wonderful the economy is doing because the government worker employment has been a drag. And to put it in perspective, that we've got the lowest government worker number since 1966 and the lowest share of government workers in the labor force in all of history.
Which is amazing. I mean, Donald Trump campaigned on shrinking the government, and we understand under Joe Biden, the number of jobs that were growing were in the government. It's insane. Trump sat down yesterday with Kudlow on Fox Business to talk about the state of the economy.
We're old enough to remember when the stock market, when there was good news, the market went up. When there was bad news, the market went down. That's the way it should be. Goes up. Now, if there's good news, the market goes down because everyone said, oh, inflation. They have the yips. Golfers have the yips. They can't sink a 3-foot putt. When the word inflation, even the concept of it, well, growth doesn't mean inflation. And what it means is you can never really grow the country because as you do well, they keep trying to put you down. And so when good news is announced, I mean, sometimes great news is announced and the market literally crashes. Bad news is announced and the market goes up because of interest rates, because they say, and we have to go back to the old system. When we have good news, the market should go up. And we have bad news, the market should go down. And we'll take care of inflation as it comes. We can take care of it. I took care of it. I had the worst inflation in history with Biden, aside from borders and everything else that we had to take care of. But we had the worst inflation in history. And now, for the last 3 months, as you know, it was 1.3%.
Which is unbelievable. People will still complain about the prices, but you have to understand when you had, was it 9% inflation at one point, some say even higher, it's tough to bring those prices back down. It's going to. One of the ways that you're going to have to combat that is with wage growth, and it seems like the president and his economy is doing just that. He also said when it comes to interest rates, the new head of the Fed, he thinks if they lower the interest rates, President Trump said that we could be growing the economy at a rate of about 15%.
I've been watching you and everybody else for years, and they say 3% growth. Oh, this is great, GDP. 3% GDP, 2.5%. They're very happy, 2.5%, 2%, 1%. They're happy with anything. We should grow 15 or 20%. Larry, every time we're growing, they stop it by announcing that we're going to raise interest rates and stuff. So we're going to do 5.4%. It was announced with a Democratic shutdown, which cost us at least 1.5 points. Okay, people don't realize we could have been at 7%. We should be at 15%. I'll tell you, if our new head of the Fed, who I think is going to be great, and he's a really high quality person. He was and your friend Kevin was great, but I want to keep him with us too. I said to King, look, I had the two Kevins, right? But I wanted to keep him with us. He's doing great. But if he does the job that he's capable, we can grow at 15%. I think more than that.
Well, 15 is a big number, sir.
But Larry, you can do it. The problem is every time we used to grow at 15%, and when we were starting as a country, we were growing.
Yes.
Because we had spirit and we had the right incentives. Today we have a lot of socialism,
I
a lot of communism. We have a lot of bad things. But there's look, we did 5.4 with a shutdown. Think of it. We can do that. This country can do it. Tariffs are very important. The money I'm taking in hundreds of billions of dollars in tariff money. And we're going to start paying down debt. This country has never been so strong, militarily or any other way.
I love the way Donald Trump just sets his sights on a high goal. To say that he wants the country to grow at 15%, even Kudlow is like, well, that's a big number. And it's like, it is. It is. Is it something that is attainable? Who knows? Who knows? But I love that Trump goes in with the attitude of, we can do that. That not this pessimism. He goes in with just this unbridled optimism. It's like, no, this is something that's possible. When you look at what we're doing with the tariffs, and I would even say when you're looking at what he's been able to do with the investments in this country, trillions upon trillions of dollars. I think it was over $18 trillion in the first year, last I checked. The confidence that he has is just oozing out. And to set your goals that high, I like it. I like it a lot. He doubled down on interest rates needing to be lower.
Interest rates should be lower. You know, every point is $600 billion. Think of that. $600 billion. All he has to do, if we went down 2 points, we don't have a deficit anymore. And that's without cutting. And it's just a paper charge. When you think about it, it's a paper charge. We should be the lowest interest rate in the world.
I'm here for it. And we all know that Jerome Powell hasn't lowered the interest rates. And you can make the argument that it is just political at this point. But Donald Trump is still, regardless of the lack of the interest rates being lowered, still pushing forward, still doing everything he can for the country. He also got a little bit of credit from Larry Kudlow. He said, the Wall Street Journal's not going to give you credit for this, but I certainly will, Mr. President.
The Wall Street Journal editorial page will never give you credit for it, but you have lowered barriers. We have now lower export barriers. We can sell a lot more American goods abroad than ever before because of the reciprocity policy. But nonetheless, you're bringing in close to $300 billion last year alone in revenue.
And that's being nice.
It works.
And that's being nice.
It works, says Kudlow. And this is all based on the tariff policy, the same tariff policy that they said was going to crash the economy. Remember that? Remember they said, we're all going to be paying through the nose. The tariffs are going to ruin everything. It hasn't happened yet. We're still waiting for it. And we're also, admittedly, still waiting for that Supreme Court decision. Donald Trump talked about the Supreme Court decision. He says, I hope they do the right thing. But if they don't, we have backup plans.
Just hope the Supreme Court does what's right for the country. Because now, will I figure something out? But the answer is yes. But it won't be as beautiful as it is right now.
I don't know how the Supreme Court rules against Trump on the tariffs. Because as the president, you have the ability to just completely blockade a country. So you could say, okay, well, now none of your products come in. The tariffs seem like a much more measured option to have. And we've seen the fruit. We've seen the renegotiated trade deals. We've seen it with the European Union, with Japan, and down the list it goes. And it's opened the possibility to sell a lot more American products overseas. I don't know how the Supreme Court rules against them. Would I be shocked if they ruled against them? Not necessarily. But it seems like they're dragging their feet on that decision, and I wish we could get it sooner rather than later. It wasn't all economy stuff. I mean, this interview was mostly centered around the economy, but things came up like the Minnesota fraud.
Minnesota. So we think it's at least $19 billion of fraud, medical, every fraud. Somalia has come in here. What they've done to our country, these people, they've come into our country, and what they've done with that fake congresswoman, she's so bad. No, we're going to get to the bottom of it. We have the best people maybe in the whole country looking at that. We're looking at California too, because California is worse. But if we find 50%, look, they've been robbing and ripping off this country for many years, for decades, right? If we find 50% of what's happened, we have a balanced budget without cutting anybody. We have a balanced budget. And we'll find it. Minnesota is very corrupt. California is very corrupt. A lot of states are very corrupt.
He's not wrong. With the amount of money that we're throwing out the window with the fraud, it's like, yeah, we're definitely being taxed way too high. And yes, we absolutely could balance the budget. There's a new fraud scheme that's being exposed in Minnesota. I don't know if you've heard about this. Somalis in Minnesota are buying homes to use as home care, and then they sit empty. And then they bill the state for millions of dollars per year. This is insane. You talk about affordability, you talk about the cost of homes. The Somalis in Minnesota are buying houses to defraud the state and then they're letting the houses sit empty. I'm going to bring you that story when we get back. There's still a lot to get to. It's 11:22. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at Parker Safes and Vaults in Shelbyville. I was actually texting with Aaron Parker yesterday, and I told him, man, I am so happy to have you guys on the team. We got great sponsors on the show, and Parker Safes and Vaults is one of them. They do business the old-fashioned way. They'll carry products they believe in. They'll answer their phone. They'll show up when they say they will. I know, it seems like the bar is low, but that really means a lot because so many other companies just don't do that anymore. It's insane. Parker Safes and Vaults in Shelbyville, they offer fire-rated, theft-resistant gun safes, including UL-rated TL and TR safes, built to resist tool and torch attacks. It's perfect for your firearms, but it's also important if you want to stack some precious metals, or you want to take care of the jewelry in the house, or you want to protect the passports and the photo albums, the things that you can't afford to lose. Aaron Parker knows security. He's a veteran with Air Force security experience. Him and his sons are going to handle everything, installation and delivery themselves. They serve all of Nashville and the surrounding areas without hesitation. You can find a detailed review for every safe that they have in stock on their YouTube page. Just search Parker Safes on YouTube and then pick your safe out before you even hit the showroom. Call Aaron today and be like, man, I saw the video. This is the one I want. 931-842-6445, 931-842-6445, or you can find out everything they have in stock online, parkersafes.com.
Well, the FAA shuts down the airspace over El Paso, says it's going to be that way for 10 days, and then abruptly says, nope, it's reopened. Investigators in Arizona are back to square one after a person of interest was detained in Nancy Guthrie's disappearance. And here, Metro Council members and the public press Nashville Electric Service over the winter storm response coming up at 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
The El Paso airport story is wild, is it not? Have you, I mean, you've been doing the news for a long time, Brother Ken. Have you ever seen a story like that?
No, I have not.
10 days, and they're like, did we say days? We didn't mean that.
We meant minutes.
It's like, what? It's insane. It's insane. The whole story's insane. Ken Weaver on the way with the headlines. Looking forward to that, as always. Don't forget, February 24th, our State of the Union party at Legend Steakhouse in Smyrna. We want you to watch the State of the Union with us. It's an exclusive event. Less than 100 tickets available. You can get yours at 997WTN.com. You'll get hooked up with a great dinner, and you'll be able to watch the president's address to the nation with the whole squad. Myself, Murphy, Mandis, and Benson. We want to see you there. 997WTN.com. I said this a minute ago. A new Somali fraud scandal has just dropped. We've heard about the daycare fraud. We've heard about the non-medical transport vehicle fraud. But, listen. This one is insane. It's coming out that Somalis are buying homes in Minnesota to use as quote-unquote home care. Then they just sit there empty, and then they bill the state for millions. Listen to this report from on the ground in Minnesota. It's a Minnesota realtor exposing what's happening in Minnesota.
Here in Minnesota, a local realtor reached out to me to tell me about another way that Somalians are scamming Minnesotans out of their taxpayer dollars. In her community alone, Somalians have bought up over 455 homes. They buy these homes, claiming they're turning these homes into home health care centers. She says the way we know Somalians have bought these homes is because all of a sudden, extremely nice cars start showing up. Mercedes, BMWs, the nicest cars are parked in the driveway. And she said by law, the state will not come out and inspect these homes and make sure these homes even have clients living in these homes. She also said, as a realtor, she cannot disclose to people wanting to buy homes in this neighborhood that Somalians have bought that home and they're using that as a home health care center. She said these homes can even take people in who've just been released from jail, and the neighborhood does not need to know about this. But she says many of these homes do not even have clients in them. But the state is writing them checks every month for the clients that the Somalians say are in these homes. And these Somalians are making millions of dollars off of these homes every year. The Somalians have figured out exactly the perfect plan as to how to scam Minnesota taxpayers out of their money.
And they're pretty good at it. They seem to be pretty good at it. Imagine how infuriating it must be if you're trying to buy a home in Minnesota and you have to compete against the Somali who's going to buy the home and leave it sitting there empty while they rake in millions of dollars in taxes from a system that you're paying into. I'd be infuriated. I'm infuriated. I don't even live in Minnesota. It's 11:30. Super Talk, 99.7 WTN.
$11:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. Well, the FAA has now reopened the airspace around the airport in El Paso, Texas, hours after declaring it would be completely shut down for 10 days. Here's ABC News transportation correspondent Gio Benitez.
That apparently the FAA was concerned essentially about flights flying blind because they were doing these military operations there in the area with these drones, but not communicating with the FAA about where these drones were or where they were going. And so the FAA was concerned about flights.
Now the Trump administration is blaming an incursion into U.S. airspace from Mexican cartel drones. Investigators in Arizona are back to square one after a person of interest was detained and then let go in the disappearance of Savannah Guthrie's mother, Nancy. The Today Show host been pleading with the public to submit tips to law enforcement. ABC News contributor, former FBI agent Brad Garrett, says those tips may have led to the arrest.
They went through the steps. They stopped him, interviewed him, detained him. I don't know where they got the probable cause to get in the house, but they apparently did. Search the house and then let him go. Don't be surprised if you see similar type tips acted upon as we move through this case until they eventually get to the actual real person.
Well, now TMZ says that a new note asks for Bitcoin in exchange for information on the alleged Guthrie kidnapper. Here in Nashville, Metro Council members are pressing Nashville Electric Service. They did it last night in a public meeting over the response to the ice storm outage.
Will we get FAQs faster than we did this time? Will we get a briefing faster than we did this time?
Vice President of Operations Brent Baker defended NES preparation and communication.
It looked like the ice was going to be in Memphis. On Saturday, when that ice pattern shifted, we began making those calls. As the forecast showed, Saturday ice was headed directly to Nashville. We started making those calls, and as soon as Sunday morning, when those companies were able to release their crews, that's when they started mobilizing this direction.
Now, News 2 says they did admit communication fell short. They say new protocols and earlier mobilization plans are now in place. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
It's 11:37, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, Water Filtration Systems, Water Softeners, BetterWater.com. The Steak of the Union Party, that's coming up February 24th. Legend Steakhouse in Smyrna. We're really excited about it. The whole squad's going to be out there, myself, Mandis, Murphy, Benson, and we want you to join us. You got to act fast, though. Limited number of tickets available. You can grab them at 997WTN.com. Your ticket is going to include dinner and a seat in the building while we watch the State of the Union together on the 24th. We got, what's that, less than 2 weeks. Dude, isn't it weird? Like, it feels like February's almost over. Is that just me?
Oh, absolutely. It's already just begun.
I know it's only the 11th, but I'm like, yeah, February's done.
Speeding.
It's this. We keep moving this fast. We're gonna be back at Christmas before we know it.
Jeez, I don't need that right now.
Felt good though. Yesterday the weather was nice again,
dude. For real.
It felt like we're getting back to spring weather. Let's go.
I need a little more cold for not like the freezing we just had, but like around the high 40s, so I can enjoy my hoodies for a little bit longer. Then we can push into spring.
Luckily, when it gets warm out, it's freezing in here, so you'll have an opportunity to wear your hoodies.
True.
All right, so we got a lot to get to. Do you know what time it is?
I think I know what time it is.
You were really good yesterday. You raised the bar.
I know. I was thinking last night. I was like,
it was almost too good.
Almost too good.
Yeah, almost too good. It's time for the lightning round.
It's the lightning round with Chris Hand.
We do it every day at this time. All the stories that we didn't have a chance to get to, all the stories that might not fill a whole segment, but we want to talk about anyway. We like to call it the lightning round. It's pretty good. Pretty good. Mason's in control of the lightning. Sometimes it's better than others.
Listen, it's got a buffer a little bit. It's got a limit on there.
Sometimes he does it better than others. But yesterday was pretty good. Tell you what, yesterday was pretty good. First story in the lightning round. We got an update on the Savannah Guthrie kidnapping. Harvey Levin of TMZ was on Fox News just about an hour ago saying that they have received a bizarre letter. Listen to this.
Has just been sent a third letter. Please explain and describe what you got about 90 minutes ago.
So an hour and a half ago, we got kind of a bizarre letter, an email from somebody who says they know who the kidnapper is and that they have tried reaching Savannah's sister, Annie, and Savannah's brother to no avail. And they said they want 1 Bitcoin sent to a Bitcoin address that we have confirmed is active. It's a real Bitcoin address. As they put it, time is more than relevant. So we have no idea whether this is real or not, but they are making a demand. It's interesting that, Bitcoins fluctuate in value, but it's around $56,000 now, 1 Bitcoin, which is about the amount that the authorities are offering for information leading to the return of Nancy. So I don't know if that aligns, but whoever sent this, and they actually give a name and an email address, but whoever sent this is asking for around that amount.
It's crazy, man. Third letter sent to Harvey Levin of TMZ asking for 1 Bitcoin, saying that they know who kidnapped Nancy. I mean, there's a couple questions here. And when we saw the security footage released yesterday, speculation abound online. A lot of people saying that maybe it was actually a woman under that ski mask. They point to the eyebrows. And I saw some other people, when they tried to put the desert flowers in front of the video, it's like a dude would have just ripped that doorbell off the wall. And I thought to myself, yeah, they probably would have. Who do you think did this? I think is the question everybody wants to know. A lot of people are pointing fingers at the family, the sister, the brother-in-law. Maybe. I was talking with my wife last night. There's these viral videos going on and going around online. It's like, the sister doesn't look all upset in the video. Looks like she's trying to fake it. And I mentioned that to my wife, and she's like, yeah, but what do we actually know about her? Like, could she have just been cried out? Could she be on some kind of antidepressants and not feeling anything? I mean, like, there's so many, variables that we don't know. So it's hard to point the finger. We do know they've been searching the sister's house, which is interesting, to say the least. I wonder if this is cartels or some kind of drug trafficking thing or illegal aliens or, that's where my head went originally, being so close to the border. Maybe that's the case. Maybe that's not, but it still remains a mystery. Yet it seems like we're getting more and more wrinkles to this story every single day. We'll keep our eyes on this as well because it is. I mean, it's fascinating to say the least. Absolutely fascinating. Got another story for you here in the lightning round. This one, I mean, listen, we have. How often have we told you to get your kids off Roblox and to keep your kids off social media? Do you need another example? Well, buckle up. You're getting one. 29-year-old man arrested after using Fortnite, Roblox, and Snapchat to groom and exploit a child. Florida's Attorney General calls out parents for not monitoring their children's online activity.
Parents have to wake up. This is yet another day where we're here to announce a predator that got to a minor, a young girl, and took advantage of her online using social media applications. Today we're here to announce the arrest of 29-year-old Justin Adkins of West Warwick, Rhode Island. Again, this is happening from other states, parents. People from other states are getting to your kids online and taking advantage of them. Justin Adkins is currently facing charges, 2 child molestation charges in Rhode Island, and here we have taken him down after he developed a relationship with a young girl, a minor, online. They met through the gaming app Fortnite. From there, they moved to Snapchat. That's what the icon looks like. After meeting and talking on Snapchat, he then sent Robux using the app Roblox to give this young girl, lavish goods. He sent her an iPhone because he wanted better content in the imagery. If you see these apps, you need to be prepared. You need to look at the tools that are available to you to, review and monitor the content on your children's phones. You need to decide, do you even want the child to have this application in the first place?
I think that you need to decide, do you want the child to have a phone in the first place? You're giving them that gateway, that portal to all sorts of vile individuals. They're just on the other side of the screen, guys. And there are options out there. Like, I have a 12-year-old daughter, and we have, there's play practices, and there's friends' houses, and there's all the things, and communication is key. And I'm not saying don't give them a communication device, but I'm saying the smartphone, it leads to far more problems than having them have to use, the parent's cell phone. But there are options out there. We got the Bark Watch, and it's not an ad for them, but it's just a little smartwatch that she has pre-programmed phone numbers in there that she can call. And do you know who we have in her contact list that she's allowed to call? It's me and my wife, and then the grandparents, and that's it. That's it. It's bare-knuckled, the bare bones. Why? Why are you giving your kids these smartphones and smart devices? You gotta stay on your tippy toes out here and keep your head on a swivel. And if your kid is using Roblox, if your kid's using Snapchat, even if your kid's just online gaming, like, be in the room, be aware of what's happening. And in this situation, it was a girl, 29-year-old guy, just a sicko, already has charges on him for doing this kind of stuff. But it's not just the girls; they're going after the boys too, and it might not be it might not be grooming for a sexual relationship. A lot of times you'll hear the sextortion cases where you'll get a 13-year-old boy who will think he's talking to a beautiful woman, and then this beautiful woman coaxes him into sending some lewd photographs, and it's like, hey kid, guess what? You need to do X, Y, and Z, or these are going to everybody you know. It's like, what? You can protect your kids very, very easily by just saying no to these platforms and these devices. Got another story for you here in the lightning round. President Trump's administration is about to abolish The Barack Obama era requirements for the widely hated environmental features in cars, such as the stop start. Remember, you know that happens. Like you take your foot off the brake, your car stops.
It's the worst feature in cars.
I hate it.
It's awful.
Everybody hates it. It makes no sense.
Get rid of it.
Well, it's about to be getting rid of.
Let's go.
Let's go. Just one step at a time. Just restoring America back to greatness.
The issues that it causes can be very difficult to diagnose, as it's usually intermittent, and the repair isn't cheap. All right, so the takeaway, is the cost and inconvenience of repairs worth using the auto start-stop feature? Well, my belief is no. Not even close, in fact, unless you are leasing or plan on dumping your vehicle before it's out of new vehicle warranty. At that point, who cares?
I mean, I didn't even think about that, just the cost of replacing it. And then the issue on diagnosing that's the issue. Insane. Lee Zeldin is one of the guys behind getting rid of this. Cut it all. Cut all of these stupid requirements. Make cars cheap again. Can we do that? Can we do that? Trump administration is working towards it. Got another story for you here in the lightning round. Trump versus Canada continues. I love it. What round are we in this fight? I think it's like round 8, round 9.
Round 51st?
round 51st. We just keep duking it out with Canada. This time, it has to do with a bridge, the Gordie Howe Bridge. Caroline Levitt was talking about it yesterday. Donald Trump has posted about this on Truth Social. Everybody's mad about this bridge.
I think the president was very clear and direct in his truth, John, but just to reiterate, the fact that Canada will control what crosses the Gordie Howe Bridge and owns the land on both sides is unacceptable to the president. It's also unacceptable that more of this bridge isn't being built with more American-made materials, even more so than what President Barack Obama committed to with the Canadians at the time, at the start of the project. He also believes that the U.S. should own at least half of the bridge, have shared authority over what passes across it, and participate in the economic benefits generated by its use. This is just another example of President Trump putting America's interests first, and so he made that very clear in his call with Prime Minister Carney earlier.
Suck it, Canada. President Trump on Truth Social said, as everyone knows, the country of Canada has treated the United States very unfairly for decades. Now, things are turning around for the USA and fast. But imagine Canada is building a massive bridge between Ontario and Michigan. They own both the Canada and the United States side and, of course, built it with virtually no U.S. content. President Barack Hussein Obama stupidly gave them a waiver so they could get around the Buy American Act and not use any American products, including our steel. Now the Canadian government expects me, as President of the United States, to permit them to just take advantage of America. What does the United States of America get? Absolutely nothing. Ontario won't even put U.S. spirits, beverages, and other alcoholic products on their shelves. They are absolutely prohibited from doing so. And now, on top of everything else, Prime Minister Carney wants to make a deal with China? China? Which will eat Canada alive. We'll just get the leftovers. I don't think so. The first thing China will do is terminate all ice hockey being played in Canada and permanently eliminate the Stanley Cup. We can't let China get away with that. We can't. The tariffs Canada charges us for our dairy products have for many years been unacceptable, putting our farmers at great financial risk. I will not allow this bridge to open until the United States is fully compensated for everything we have given them. And also, importantly, Canada treats the United States with the fairness and respect we deserve. We will start negotiations immediately with all that we have given them. We should own perhaps at least one half of this asset. The revenues generated because of the U.S. market will be astronomical. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, stupid bridge. Get that bridge out of here. We don't... a bridge to Canada. Bah. No, we got to own half of that. We got to own half of that.
Give me that.
That's basically ours now.
Yeah.
Look at me. I own the bridge. So good. All right, I got another one for you here in the lightning round. This is Jasmine Crockett. People don't think it'd be like it is, but it do. And she wants you to know that she is successful because she's black. And by being black and a woman, she is extra prepared for the racism and sexism.
You know, there are those that have their own motivations for critiquing. And, you know, I think that the people
Is it just racism and sexism? Like, what do you think it is?
I mean, I think there's a lot of things. I think it depends on who it's coming from. But I've been a black woman my whole life. So this idea that I'm going to go and be like, oh, well, they're being racist or misogynistic towards me. Like, you think I didn't know I was a black woman when I woke up and decided that I was going to run for the United States Senate? You think I didn't factor in and make sure that we had enough room to account for that? We did.
Oh, stunning and brave. I didn't know Jasmine Crockett was a black woman. I just found this out. Can you fact check that? Has she been a black woman her whole life? I know Kamala Harris only became black when it was convenient, but I'm pretty sure that people were aware that Jasmine Crockett was a black woman her whole life. Jasmine Crockett she's been doing the rounds. She's running for Senate in the state of Texas. I have long said this is going to be the most entertaining Senate race in the country. The Jasmine Crockett in Congress really put the emphasis on being black. You can hear it with her black scent.
Get offended and try to say I'm too black, but the reality is that y'all never let the fact that I am black go. So I'm going to be clear about one thing. I know my good black history, but this looks like modern day slave patrols.
Slay, queen, slay. People don't think it'd be like it is, but it do. Here's something to note. She's extra black when she needs to be, but when she's doing TV interviews in East Texas, she puts on her college voice. And this is insane. Let me play this real quick. This is East Texas TV.
I think that the role of immigration enforcement is important. I don't think that this current iteration of ICE is what any of us believes is right. You know,
Baby, what happened to the accent? Why do you pick and choose the times to use the accent? It's very weird. It's very, very weird. And we learned with Kamala Harris, it's not exactly endearing. And the internet is forever, and people see right through the BS. It's 11:54. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at the Wellness Institute of Nashville. If you're living with pain, you know that you don't need to, right? The Wellness Institute of Nashville is going to get you back to a pain-free life, lickety-split. If you're dealing with back pain, neck pain, sciatica, herniated or bulging disc, knee pain, numbness in your arms or legs, these are all issues that can be fixed today at the Wellness Institute of Nashville. Dr. Mitchell and his team are the best. They're the pros, and they're always looking for new, innovative ways to help you out, and they've done so with a brand new device called the HydroWave. They're actually the first and only office in Tennessee with the HydroWave. The HydroWave is going to stimulate stem cells for real cellular healing. No surgery, no needles, no opioids. You pair that with their non-surgical spinal and knee decompression, and it doesn't get more advanced than this. Anti-gravity machines, robot lasers, and more. Plus, these guys will review your MRI and take the time to explain it to you and how to fix it. 615-246-5009. That's the number to call to start a pain-free life with the Wellness Institute of Nashville. 615-246-5009, or find them online, painisbad.com.